Hello and welcome to this video review of the TT eSports Saphira gaming mouse. The Saphira is a right-handed gaming mouse with an ergonomic design for the perfect fit. It has two buttons on the left-hand side, which are default for forward and back in web browsing, two Omron switch buttons on the top of the mouse for your left and right click, and then a scroll wheel, which is also a scroll button. The scroll wheel features a rubberized design on the top for better grip. The sensor for this mouse is an Avagon ADNS 3090 sensor, which features 100 all the way up to 3500 DPI. The mouse can also be customized to use the buttons for 5 macro keys. Included in the box with the Saphira is a nice carry pouch for the mouse. You also get a booklet of information, which includes a quick start guide, manual, a leaflet telling you where to download the drivers, as there is no drivers or firmware with this CD. It comes from the website. You can also see on the manual the player Whitera, who is a professional StarCraft 2 player who helped in the design of this mouse. You can also see you get a couple of stickers and a warranty policy. The mouse also uses a gold-plated USB connector. On the left hand side of the Saphira, you can see these 4 LED indicator lights. These will correspond to the DPI level you're using, which you'll set in the profile software downloadable from TT eSports website. And this allows you to go from the 100 to 3500 DPI. You can also see the 2 included buttons on the left hand side for forward and back usage. TT eSports have used a plastic design on the left side of the mouse and on the right side, which we're not too fond of. The rest of the mouse is a really nice rubberized design, which is really nice to the touch, is very grippy, and doesn't build up sweat easily. But the plastic parts give it a less quality feel, which is a shame. On the top of the mouse, you can see the center mouse wheel. Now, this will glow red when connected, and you can turn this off if you would like. You can also see there's a really nice tread on the mouse wheel. It's not really smooth, so you get a really nice grip feeling, and quite good for those with greasy fingers. Now, the buttons used on the mouse are Omron switches for the perfect click. On the right hand side of the mouse, you can see the ergonomically designed shape continues. However, Thermaltake again have used this plastic on the side again. It's not really in keeping with the mouse, but the overall design is good for the hand. A little feature of the Thermaltake Saphira is this logo, which will glow red when connected. If you would like, you can turn it off. The Saphira features some very large mouse gates. They cover nearly the entire bottom of the mouse. This is a really interesting design, as it should give you the best slip across mouse pads, and in our testing we found it to be very comfortable, slippery over the mouse pad, and not much friction, which is a very good design. You can see the sensor is not nearly dead center, but is nearly there. It's a good position, and we like it. On the right hand side, you can see the function lock button. This will actually disable the 2 mouse buttons on the left hand side of the mouse, and this is so that in your gaming, if you are in a furious gunfight or you're playing StarCraft 2, you don't want those buttons active. You can just flip this button and they will lock. It's a hard switch, which is good, and will not easily be undone. At the top right of the bottom of the mouse, you can see the profile switcher button, which will change between the different profiles which you can configure within the TT eSports software. I like this position because it's kind of out of the way, and it's a good position for people who might accidentally push buttons when they're flipping over the mouse. On the left hand side of the mouse, you can see the polling rate button. Now, not really sure why you need a dedicated polling rate button, considering you can configure this in the software. It's nice to have that option, and if you don't install the software, you can do it. But again, a lot of people are probably going to install the software to take advantage of the macros. And I think maybe if you're on the fly, you can change the polling rate, but you'll never really know which option you're on. Lastly, the DPI button on the left hand side. This is for those gamers who want to completely change their setup from FPS to RTS. I think this should have been on the right hand side of the mouse though. You can see that when you flip the mouse over, your thumb can flick the button, whereas if on the left hand side, you have to drop the mouse and use your finger to change the DPI. This is something that is a minor thing for FPS gamers, as this is an RTS mouse, but I think this will be used for cross-platform gaming and cross-discipline gaming. So overall, I think it should have been on the right-hand side. It is a good ergonomic design though, and overall the placement of the buttons is good. I would have just switched the button lock button and the DPI button over, but apart from that, it was a good layout. The underside of the mouse contains a weight tray, and you can see this here is covered by this piece of plastic. The weight tray has a rubberized design, which means that it kind of absorbs all of the shock from the weights. There are 5 weights, 4.5 grams each. This is a really good design because the weights don't move around a lot in the in the mouse, and because the rubber absorbs any kind of movement, you don't get any rattling when using the mouse, so you get a really consistent feel. So when you put the weights in, it's actually additional weight added to the mouse rather than just a bit stuck on the end. It feels like it's well built and should be a good addition to anybody looking to add customization to their mouse. Domoteca have come up with a really good design for the DPI indicator. It's on the side, which means that all you need to do is just simply swivel the mouse a little bit after pushing the DPI button, and you can see the increase. So if you don't know which DPI level you're on, just swing the mouse out a little bit and you can see. It's not intrusive and looks pretty cool on the side of the mouse. The sensor at the heart of the Saphira is the Avago ADNS 3090 sensor. Now this features up to a maximum of 60 inches per second and 20 G of acceleration, and has been used on many other FPS gaming mice. Now one thing that may turn you off, as this is an FPS feature, is prediction. Now mouse prediction, or correction, however you want to call it, or even angle snapping by some manufacturers, is essentially where lines are adjusted to make them straighter by default. And this is going to help you when you want to move quickly and sharply across, say, levels or maps or what have you in one straight continuous line. This is good for precision if you want to move large areas quite quickly, but for FPS gamers who want absolute precision, it could affect their performance a little bit. So prediction is sometimes not liked by FPS gamers. It is a minor feature, and this is sort of an RTS aimed mouse, but I think if you don't really mind prediction, this is a great sensor for FPS gaming and RTS gaming. If we sum up the pros for the Saphira, we can instantly see the LED indicator and the buttons on the left hand side of the mouse are excellent placement. The overall ergonomic design of the mouse is also brilliant for RTS and FPS gaming, and the rubberized texture is excellent to the touch and is a really comfortable design. The scroll wheel as well and the LED on the back and the front of the mouse just make it an overall excellent gaming mouse, just to give you that little extra touches when going to LANs and other competitive tournaments. The placement of the button on the underside of the mouse also have their advantages in that the DPI profile button and the DPI buttons are out of the way, so you don't push them out accidentally while in a furious battle or in the middle of some incredibly intense gaming, so I like that design. If we look at the cons, however, the plastic on the left hand side and the right hand side of the mouse I didn't really enjoy. I didn't think it kind of went with the rest of the mouse, and it doesn't give the high quality standard that Thermaltake really show with this product. The sensor as well didn't really achieve the FPS quality, even though this is an RTS-oriented mouse. I think if the sensor was given no prediction, I think this would be an FPS and RTS gamer's dream. It really does provide an excellent experience. The high quality tracking and movement of this sensor is just brilliant, and we didn't find any issues with it even at the higher DPI ranges. At 800 DPI for any FPS gamer, this is just going to be an amazing mouse, and if you can deal with prediction, I actually still think this is a great FPS mouse. Other things we didn't like were the overall button placement on the bottom of the mouse. Now, while you normally would have the DPI button close to your thumb, as it's a right-handed mouse, therefore you're going to have this optimized for right-handed gamers, the button for DPI switching wasn't close enough to the thumb to make it a quick enough change. And I think if you are going to be someone who's going to flip between the mouse, you just want that little bit extra comfort and simplicity. This didn't offer that, as the DPI button was on the opposite side of the mouse when you turned over. I think that's something that Thermaltake could improve on, and that they should do, because it really would just make gaming a little bit easier. Because of the great macro setup, we're going to give this the RTS award. It deserves it. I mean, it was designed with White Rail, so it really has that pedigree and support from the professionals. But we're also going to give it the Gold Award. To get the Gold Award, this mouse really had to go from the lowest of the entry-level player all the way up to the highest echelon of competitive gaming, which it does in the RTS crowd. For the more casual and less competitive FPS gamer, I think this also speaks well, which is 2 reasons why this really deserves it, as well as the great macro setup and the overall quality of the sensor. Thanks for watching this video review of the TT eSports Saphira gaming mouse. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook page and Twitter, and read the full review on the website gamersedge.co.uk. Thanks for watching.